Helldivers, we have reached a major milestone in the Galactic War, and that is with the first firing of the Star of Peace, destroying the Automaton Planet of Penta, but not as all as it seems, so we have to dive right in and talk about it. Alright everyone, we've just been informed in the latest major order that intelligence on the Star of Peace has been leaked out and put out into the hands of, maybe the enemy. And that could mean a lot of really bad things for us, and we're going to have to talk about it. So, we're going to get into some spoiler and some leak type of territory, so be warned. But it's very interesting, and you definitely want to stick around for it. Alright, friends, let's get to it. Well, obviously, having a planetary killer in the wrong hands would bode out very, very bad things for us on the Galactic War. If the enemy was to have this, they'd be able to take out our planets and even threaten Super Earth itself. And I do think that that is actually going to become the case because if you remember on the channel, we talked about some leaks. And those leaks came from Iron Sights, and it was about the construction of a planetary killer on the automaton side. So, I do believe that is now setting the stage for this. As you can see in the image over here from Iron Sights, this thing definitely looks like a Death Star, and very much inspired by Star Wars, I would believe. But if you remember what the Death Star did, it obliterated planets into dust, and I think that maybe some karma from the automaton side might be coming our way. And if that's the case, we're going to have a real fight on our hands. I don't think that we're going to be able to maybe stop it if we do get the opportunity. Maybe we will be able to stall it, but I think this is something planned to actually come out and be a new threat on the Galactic War front against us. I'm personally very interested in to see how this plays out, and I do, friends, believe that this is going to be tied into either the factory worlds or post-factory worlds. So it's not something that's going to be coming out immediately right now. We're going to have a lot more battles leading up to this, but it's a threat that we're going to have to be very, very cognizant of in the near future. But another big thing has happened, and it's very interesting, is why the hell has the DSS moved all the way to the other side of the galaxy from, being near Penta? Now we're at a Fayoe Bay. What the hell are we doing from High Command? Something's happening. Well, in an interesting post from Reddit, and something that I was maybe thinking as well, is, hey, is High Command a little bit compromised or maybe slightly incompetent? Who knows? Maybe a mixture of the two. Because why have we moved the DSS across the galaxy all the way to a Fayoe Bay? That is in, the heart of the Illuminate territory, and it's giving the Illuminate an opportunity with this major order to destroy it, and we are going to have to defend it. And if we don't, that could be, spelling out some very, very bad things for us. So, friends, are we also seeing maybe this is the beginning of the tie-in for the future of the Illuminate warfront? Are they also going to be getting some intelligence from us and some technology that puts our planets at risk, just like the automatons? But we're going to have to see what pans out from this, and I do think this might be, kicking off or starting to kick off the new narrative of potential cultists down the line and the other type of Illuminate forces that we'll be seeing very soon. So we're going to have to stay very close on this one, but it is interesting. But one thing to point out is that, hey, the Penta black hole is very, very different from the Meridia black hole. So obviously, Penta is just a black hole itself, and as you can see, very, very visually different. Meridia ended up being a wormhole, and it still looks purple. It still exists there today, and, more Illuminate could come through at one point. But I'm not worried about, Illuminate breaking through from Penta side. But it's very interesting to see, like, hey, how the technology has changed and adapted. But, if you were trying to speculate, as many other people were, that, hey, this is going to make another wormhole that people are going to be coming through, I don't think that's the case on this one. But I wanted to close out on something, and that is going to be a pattern of behavior being shown by Arrowhead that I don't really like. And that is going to be the lacklusterness of the narrative storytelling, and especially with what happened with the events of Penta, friends. Now, this was supposed to be a live event. We voted for the planet to be destroyed. Everyone brought their Star Destroyer, just like myself, to orbit around first Super Earth, and then we realized, hey, nothing's happening. Everyone has to quickly, restart their game, head back over to Penta, where the DSS is now showing itself. And we were all waiting for something to go off, and we were getting no visual cues, no giant laser in the sky destroying the planet, nothing like that. And only this tiny little animation that played on the galactic map to destroy the planet was seen. And it was a huge letdown. I mean, obviously, seeing the black hole that is now what Penta was is very cool. It looks great. I love it. But we were all expecting so much more from something that's supposed to be like a huge event, and I think that there was 25,000 plus Helldivers that were like orbiting Penta at the time, so it should have been something that was very big for us and a huge payoff, but again, it was very lackluster, and many of us felt very disappointed. But we also didn't get any of the Strowman news animations that had been played before to kind of really signify, hey, this is a major event that happened. I know I was getting a giant black screen going over and waiting for an hour for anything to play. And we should have been seeing this one being played on the screen now. This is a Strowman News broadcast that I had previously shown of, hey, enemy planets being destroyed, and we should have gotten this being played out, and it wasn't the case, and that was a huge letdown. But this has been a bad pattern from Arrowhead. It's like, hey, letting players down in major ways. This game really is built off of major narrative events like Malevolent Creek, Defending of Super Earth, anything like that. The players love it, and we love being there for the action. So having a larger payoff and maybe seeing a huge, destruction of the planet actually animated and played on the news broadcast would have been really fun for us and made us a little bit more hyped. So I hope that going forward in the future that they change this kind of pattern of behavior. Otherwise, it's going to make us feel a little bit more let down again once more, and that kind of sucks. All right, everyone, that's all I have for you today. If you like what you heard, please be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell, use those hype points, all the good things because it helps us out, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.